What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer. I'm doing a quick gameplay video for Galaxy Eyes using the new support. Definitely want to be taking a look. So some of these I'm gonna basically talk about the journey of me playing this, right? Because I've made a lot of changes to the deck list. I still haven't found a final. But slowly but surely I'm getting a little bit better. So this card I feel like I haven't taken nearly enough advantage of. I think that's been my biggest issue. Okay, let's take a look at what happens here, though. Well, I can go into F0, and that's it. So, some of these I make pretty bad mistakes. The biggest mistake that I've been making, first of all, is that I keep detaching Photon Vanisher. That's my issue. So, I wanted to show this for this specific reason. You need to detach Thrasher if you play it. I've really and probably am going to drop Thrasher and Vanisher just because later in the game, they just become mega bricks in your hand. They do nothing at all. Which kind of stinks. But I get to do some pretty interesting things here, okay? The one thing that I will say, though, is that the new boss monster, it just I haven't had the greatest experience with it. I think I see it in this duel, but we'll see what ends up happening. So I can go into 62, and here's the new one. Here's number C62, right? And I also get a little bit of battle protection here, which is kind of nice. So I get 3 attacks, which is cool and all, but the attack just isn't that great, right? 1600, so that's 8 and 8. That makes sense, right? For some reason, I feel like this should be larger, and I don't know why. Maybe if you detach Afterglow, it's a little bit better. Don't know why he tried to activate this effect. I obviously got to take it. So I wanted to show that first gameplay video because, no, you should not be detaching Vanisher. It can only be special summoned once per turn. And it has to first be special summoned. It's pretty wild. Orbital can come out, and then I can just go ahead and go into this because I did hard open the Hope, so that's just kind of how it works. So I get 2 Disruption. This is like, for honestly, like the way that I built the deck, like this is the worst case scenario. And don't get me wrong, it's pretty bad, right? Just 2 forms of interruption probably isn't enough, in the modern day. But at least I am getting a Photon, when I detach here, whenever I end up using it. So I can go ahead and just pop. So Stealth Kragan is a pretty good card against a lot of decks. And you get a lot of versatility. This card is awesome. I love this card so much. Here's Magic Key. And some of these I'm going to try to pause and figure it out. So I've also tested some blind going second builds, which has its own advantages for sure. Your extra deck is just played completely differently. Playing cards like Gamma in the main deck, because it's a light monster, it can be discarded off a Galaxy Soldier, right? Which is pretty cool. All right, and we just go to the end phase. Pass. It's unfortunate I can't use Beast, but maybe I can use it as discard fodder. I go ahead and normal summon Photon Orbital first. That way this triggers, and I can also attach. Great card. This card's amazing. And I do get that free special summon. I do get a free 8 body there. I can go into number 90, protect myself, from Nibiru, which is kind of always the goal, I guess. And then I can go to number 97, go into number 100, and I think this goes to 17,000 attack. It's like almost just a little too good. To not have in the deck. Yeah, so this card becomes, it's just 10 times better the way that I play it because you're able to go into so many ranked bodies that card just becomes like super viable. I am playing against a Mystic Mind deck, average Mystic Mind player, right? I can go ahead and Foolish Burial and Afterglow, bring it back. This card is just a free, Foolish Burial, which does so much for you. And Awakening of Melody Dragons just searches 2 extenders as well, which is always great. It's one of the best. It could be better than Blue Eyes, to be honest with you, when it comes to searching. And this lets you either take... I should have put this in defense position, probably. I should have put this in defense position for sure. But he did have Dark Ruler no more. And he has this little... He has this little thing here, playing Mystic Mine, average Mystic Mine player, and I think he's going to try to start poking. So hopefully we can just run to the end phase here. Baguska goes away. So he has a lot of number monsters in his extra deck. Yeah, number 41. Unfortunately, you can't use number monsters to go into F0. That's kind of the super unfortunate part, but what are you going to do? Okay, Foolish Burial can go ahead and dump, and then he gets to start poking. And then this returns to the hand during the end phase, so I kind of, I get it. But eventually I'm going to draw the out, right? Okay. Trade in, that's always just a great interaction. I can Foolish Burial something I don't need, so I get closer to my outs. Thrasher, obviously, at this point, and that's why I started taking it out, because I would get to these points in the games where I would top deck Thrasher, and it'd make me want to punch a hole in the wall. All right, I can go ahead and send Levy, and there we go. Harpy's Feather Duster, normal summon, bring out this And then this is special summon. I get to, you know, grab something from his extra deck, go into a rank 8. So, yeah, average Mystic Mine player. Here's Mr. Rune. All right. This was a pretty interesting game. It's the Kishtri. They're rank 7 engine. He is using that with Mr. Rune's. Kind of interesting. All right. Being able, yeah, this card is just like way better than I ever gave it credit for, because it searches. Basically, this card searches out Summoner, which is the most important card in the deck, bar none, okay? So I can go ahead and bring out Ascended Sage, turn those into Utopia, which is always nice. So I can grab, you know, the Hope Force, rank up, and then go into 2 forms of interruption. And I can probably also trigger Levy, right? And then Levy can bring something back. I can bring back a Photon, giving myself at least 3 forms of interruption. This is a little awkward, obviously, but it's fine. And I do give myself follow-up as well, which is always a good thing, okay? Since he's playing Mr. Rune, probably a good idea to grab this card, yeah. And he's going to go ahead and try to use the effect. I can't use either of them, and he goes ahead and surrenders. It was enough interruption, which is great. Here is the deck against Naturia. This is my blind going second build, and he just passes. Or I pass. Okay, he must have made me go first. Didn't have any plays. This is an unfortunate hand, obviously. So hopefully I survive. We'll see what happens. If you can't assemble a lethal, I'm sure my crackback will be pretty darn good. He just goes into Toria Beast. Good for you. Don't know why I didn't activate any of these, or maybe he did. He did. Okay. All right. So I don't know if he didn't, like, you got to see that coming, right? I guess there's nothing really that he can do. But I love going into Frame Lord Omega because it's a 8. It's a level 8, which is awesome. It does fit well. There's a lot of synergy between Gamma and this archetype. I kind of like it. I may try to include it into my list no matter what happens. I'm not using the effectors quite yet. He's going to go ahead and go for Cyberstein, go into the Naturia Exterio, giving himself 200 life points left. And he was able to get over this. So I have 1 turn. I can't use spells and traps at all. And Danger Bigfoot comes in pretty clutch. So I just need to discard anything. Okay. Well, I can go ahead and attack over and go for game. So I guess you just got to be careful about life points, right? All those Rakuro didn't do a single thing. All right. There's just a couple more duels. I'm going to do them more like way in depth. This is just an introduction, just talking about it. And look at this hand. Wow. Pretty cool. One thing that I think that Galaxy Eyes would really benefit from is when something is sent to the graveyard, if it would add a Photon or a Galaxy Monster. I think that would be life-changing, right? Because you could Foolish Burial with Galaxy 100. Like, it would have been great if I could have, sent something to the graveyard that adds the Galaxy Eyes Photon, and I could have used Trade-In. That would have been awesome. Or even maybe just a spell card that searches. That is the one thing that this deck is missing. The only way to really search is through like Galaxy Soldier, and that's only one way, and that's not really cutting it. But I can grab from his deck number 38. Isn't that amazing? Like, that's hilarious. And I can go ahead and convert this. I've been testing around with a lot of cards. This card is like super necessary. I know that sounds kind of obvious, but I did play test to see maybe if I didn't need to use it, but you do. Okay, Ascended Sage, and then I can go into Utopia. Utopia can add. So yes, my beginning plays weren't so great, but my opponent did not take advantage, right? So I can go ahead and go into here, go into F-Zero, because those are not number monsters, right? This is Cipher X Dragon, you know what I mean? Or no, it was what? Galaxy Eye Cipher and Full Armor. They're not number monsters. This is a soft once per turn. In case you didn't know. Who would have thought, right? So he's going to go for Guardians. I can grab that. He's going to go for another Guardians. It's not going to do anything, right? Because this protects all of my monsters, so that's going to go to 0. He's going to take a big fat 2,500, and then he can't do anything. So I thought that was fun. I like to show this duel off because I actually got to flex, and very rarely in Yu-Gi-Oh! Do you get to flex. In fact, your opponent's entire job when you're playing them is to try to get your opponent not to. All right, plenty of extenders here, so I can go ahead and send the Emperor, which can bring itself back. I can special summon the Voton Vanisher, go into a Photon Dragon. I can bring this back, maybe even use it as an equip, probably go into Galaxy Soldier. Yeah, when you're at this stage, this is as good as it gets. This is literally the best case scenario. So I can go ahead and turn that into a 4, which makes that very useful. I can go into the Utopic Sage, go into Utopia, search, This is all pretty standard, but let's see what else I can do to finish this off, okay? I'm going to go into my first interruption, which is going to be number 90, Photon Lord. I do control a Galaxy Eyes monster, so I can go ahead and go into Felgran. That helps me special summon out. That also helps me take his number 38. Then I can go ahead and normal summon, bring those two out. I mean, you really can't be too mad, right? And this is, again, these are both soft ones per turn. It's the only reason I attacked into it, just to get this as an 8,500 attack. And it's permanent, too, which is awesome, right? One of the best in-archetype boss monsters in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh!, bar none. Okay, so he's going to try to go into S39. I'll just go ahead and negate there, because why not? That also triggers Emperor to bring itself back. And he's going to try to equip Moon Mirror Shield. I will go ahead and grab that. And then this is going to go ahead and get destroyed, which is fine. Doesn't really matter, because now he has new cards. And this is why I hate this card. That's why I hate this card so much. It's only good on turn 0. I don't like cards like that. It drives me crazy. And last duel, just for now, until I really figure out this deck, and I'll do like a whole master guide to it. I can bring out Galaxy Brave, which is actually ends up being a pretty decent extender in this deck, the more I look at it. Because it comes out as a rank 4. There's so many funny moments where you use a rank 8 and a rank 5 to go into, or a level 8. I think it's right here. I think this is so funny, right? One time I had Galaxy Soldier and Galaxy Brave as my materials for the monster, which is just so funny. Okay, so I get another normal summon there. I can bring back the Orbital, change those into Photon Dragon, search a card that's going to be Afterglow. I can trigger that, and I can change that into a 4. I can make that into Utopic Sage, turn those into, F-Zero, and then during my opponent's turn, I can go ahead, equip. And maybe the better move would be to equip Afterglow. And then Afterglow can go ahead and detach. So during my opponent's turn, I can just, banish another card from his extra deck, which can be really important. It just depends. Like one time I played Salomon Great, and I was able to banish their access code talker, and then their win condition didn't exist anymore, right? So yeah, that's a brief look at the new support and kind of my thoughts, and maybe a few notes, right? Important notes that for when you play the deck. So once I get a little bit better, I'll make another master video for this, and maybe even I'll try to take it over to Master Duel, at least when the new support comes out, because that sounds kind of fun. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.